on The Pivot. It's a sports podcast. And they sat Bill Belichick down, and they started asking about Brady. And, you know, those two had a marriage for 20 years, so they know the ins and outs, the strengths, the weaknesses. And, you know, Brady didn't have a lot of weaknesses. But it's funny about when you ask Belichick. Now, Belichick is a defensive coach, so he's not somebody that falls in love with creativity. He falls in love with efficiency. But he was asked about the single greatest strength for 20 years of Tom Brady, and this is what he mentioned.
Tom did such a great job of not allowing negative plays to happen to our offense. No pre-snap penalties, no sacks. He kept us out of negative plays and kept us out of long yardage. So 2nd and 10, the worst we were going to face is, you know, 3rd and 10. But usually 2nd and 10 became 3rd and 5, and then you got a chance to pick it up.
That's the sport. Bill Parcells years ago, it's a field position game. You don't want to be pinned deep in your territory, punting from your end zone. And I know you see this as a sports fan. How often last year are the Bears, despite all the talent, Rome Odunze and DJ Moore and Caleb Williams and Cole Kmet, it's 2nd down and 21, and you're punting from the 8. You're losing the field possession game. And that, to me, I don't care about anything with Caleb Williams next year. Seriously, I don't care about his yardage. I don't care about his touchdown passes. If the 68 sacks become 30, I'm good. Everything is going to be okay. Here's Matt Hasselbeck earlier on that.
Early on, his eyes were in the wrong place. Didn't look like he had a clear grasp of the protection schemes. I think that was a big part of it. What got him into trouble in the second part of the year was he trusted in his athleticism so much. Like, you saw these things where he got away with it at USC. You're not going to get away with it in the NFL. And I think that's one of the hard things for quarterbacks who have great mobility. I would say it's great mobility in college, and it's just kind of like good mobility in the NFL. And there's a fine line there.
Yeah, I don't think that was it for Caleb in terms of the mobility, that he was getting himself in trouble. That kind of implies that he was trying to run all around and do too much, and then he was taking these extra sacks, and that he was trying to do things that he got away with in college. I don't know if that's necessarily the conclusion there, honestly. Caleb is absolutely culpable for a lot of these sacks, also O-line, and that's what I want to talk about here, because you guys know this is the stat that I reference a lot, and I've talked about this specifically with Caleb, you know, is the pressure to sack percentage. So this really is the percent of sacks that this number is going to be more closely related to, is it on the quarterback and not just the bottom line sacks. You could theoretically, you know, have the worst O-line in the history of the NFL and get pressured 100 more times than anyone else, but not take a sack, and then, you know, your pressure to sack percentage will be 0, and it just shows you how good the quarterback is at actually avoiding the pressure. And as I always mention, like, and they do it for different reasons. It could be because they get rid of the ball fast. It could be because they have the mobility and whatnot. And this was the number for Caleb. Like, it was not good. So when the pressure did get to him, he did not do a good enough job of getting, you know, of avoiding the sack. And so, and again, that is going to fall on him more than anything else. So that's why this is a stat a metric that I do really appreciate. And rather than just this bottom line number, and that's going to happen no matter what. But the reality is let's say this number stays the same at 28%, but now because the O-line is better and he takes now 30 sacks or something, the Chicago Bears will undeniably be better. But it doesn't show you that Caleb Williams actually got better, that he improved. His eyes could still be in the wrong spot. He could still be confused with the protections. He could still be, you know, if you agree with Matt there, that, you know, he is getting himself in trouble because of mobility and you know, thinking that he's more mobile than he is or something. That's not actually progress. It's just, they got a better O-line in front of him, so he's taking, you know, he has to deal with it less. But he's not actually growing. He's not actually getting better in that regard. So I want to see, of course, the sacks go down. But even in a world where this O-line continues to be a mess because there was just, 3 of them got injured in preseason, right? If this number got slashed, but he still was sacked 68 times, but his pressure to sack percentage was like 14% or something, I would say that was great. Major progress. He's getting rid of the ball. He's able to do, whatever. And again, this number really is a combination between the quarterback themselves and then also the coach. I'm a firm believer that when you're taking a lot of sacks, usually with a more established quarterback, I looked at the coaching first. Is like, is the OC or the head coach giving you an out? Are they giving you solutions when dealing with the pressure? Yes or no? And if I'm confident that the answer is yes, it's like, well, then are you missing the throws? Are you just not getting the ball out? Are you panicking? Are you trying to be too mobile? What is the story here? And I think, to me, I look more towards coaching with Caleb. Caleb absolutely had some problems. He held onto the ball, etc., etc. But at the same time, I just don't think that was the moral of the story. I think he felt like he had nowhere to go. He was not given the answers to the problem. And we see this so many times with quarterbacks who either get new head coaches, either because they hire someone or they go to a different team, or a new OC. And you can see one year they do great with the pressure. The next year they do bad with the pressure. Then they get another coach, they do great with the pressure. We saw that with Jalen Hurts. We saw that with Jared Goff. I mean, you see it a lot. The coaches give you these solutions. I should try to find the clip, but I actually took notes on it a year ago. Mark Sanchez pointed it out, and he talked about, as a coach, these are what a coach needs to give their quarterback when they're feeling the pressure, when they're getting blitzed. It's really like these 3 keys. I used to have the notes somewhere. I don't want to just say the keys. I don't want to misquote him. But one of them was just like, you got to have an automatic answer. Where can you just spit the ball out immediately? Where's your absolute get out of jail free card? I can just spit the ball out to someone. You need to have that answer. And then it's a whole chain of stuff. And I don't feel as though Caleb had that necessarily. And then, as the weeks go on, everything just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And so, yeah, he is going to start to trust his mobility more because he's not getting the answers from a coach. So if you're not getting the answers to the coach, it's really kind of, Thanos. It's like, fine, I'll do it myself. And that's the impression that I started to get from him. That's why he wasn't turning the ball over. That's why he wasn't taking these shots. He's like, I don't have the answers. No one's helping me here. I kind of just have to play exactly how I knew how to play in college, because there's no evolution for me. There's no growth for me. I have to at least do what I know how to do. It's not necessarily good enough right now in the NFL, but it's not a disaster either. And it's not like there's another path that I can take that'll get me better or closer to the goal. And I do feel as though he will have that with Ben Johnson. And as I highlighted in previous videos for both the Lions and the Bears, it's like you could see Jared Goff's trajectory when he had no Sean McVay, and then no Sean McVay, then Ben Johnson. You can see it fluctuate. So, when a quarterback is getting sacked all this and not doing well, and more than just the sacks, how are they dealing with the pressure? It's not just a bottom line sack number. It's really not. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Caleb Williams and all the sacks that he took? How he can, grow beyond that, go into make a big step in the right direction. And what do you think the expectations should be for Caleb in year 2? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.